Jesus, guys, you have a lot of questions, huh? 336? This is gonna take all week to answer. But hey, I'm glad you wanna know stuff about Germany, Berlin, myself. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible to answer as many as possible. Let's see how far we can go. Are you ready? How many times have you been to Majorca? Is it still Spain there? Lol. I've been once in my life in Majorca, when I was 8 years old probably. And no, I have never been ever since, and no, I don't intend to go there ever again, because when I go on holiday, I don't want to see Germans. You know, that's the point of getting out of Germany, to not see Germans. But Majorca is basically the 17th Bundesland, and it's not Spain anymore, no. Why do Germans outside of Bavaria hate Bavaria? I've been living here for 7 months, and they're good people. Well, probably the main reason is because the rest of Germany can't understand a single word people from Bavaria are saying. And Bavaria is the richest state of all German states, which makes them a bit arrogant, you know. When are you going to party in Munich? You have promised it. I know I have promised it, but after I promised it, there was a lockdown and all the clubs have closed, and then I was in South America and now I'm back. As it turns out, I already was there partying. I just didn't let you know because it was private. No, I'm just kidding. I was there last weekend and I partied and I suffered, and you will see it next week in a video. If you didn't live in Berlin, where in Germany do you see yourself living? Hamburg, Munich or Frankfurt? And oh, what is the thing you like the most about your country? To be honest, I have lived in a few different cities in Germany. I've lived in Heidelberg, in Kassel, in Heilbronn. I was many times in Frankfurt and Munich and Hamburg, but I couldn't imagine living anywhere else but Berlin if I would live in Germany. The rest of Germany is very uptight, very conservative, not open-minded at all. It's just not an environment I want to live in. And what is the thing you like most about your country? It's the bread. It's the bread. The bread is the best. When I'm abroad, there's nothing else I miss about Germany. It's only the bread. And that doesn't mean Germany is the only country that makes great bread. There's other countries, but very few. France makes great bread. Italy, bread is also alright. Other than that, you won't find good bread. Berlin is my favorite place. You really capture the vibe of the city. What are your favorite places to eat? Berlin has so many great restaurants. It's insane. There's so many in each district, and mentioning them all here in this video is way too much, so it's gonna take forever. I'm gonna make a map for you guys to see which are my favorite restaurants here, and then you can try and check them out. I'll let you know when it's finished. Why is the Matrix the best Berlin nightclub? Because you can go there with the age of 16, obviously, and of course, because you will not encounter a single person from Berlin, which is great because they are always in a bad mood, yeah? Where else would you live if Berlin wasn't an option? Certainly in Tokyo or some other place in Japan. Japan is by far my favorite country on the whole planet. I've spent 6 months of my life there and I want to spend as much time there as possible. But living there is not an option at the moment because I'm too poor for that. And the second option would be Peru. I was in Peru this year the first time. I absolutely loved it, every minute of it. The people, the food, the landscapes, it's like everything's great. And the third option would be probably Australia. They have great beaches, a laid-back way of life, and also big cities, which I like. What did you do before you became a YouTuber? Tell us about your experience as a YouTuber. Before I became a YouTuber, after school, I studied biology, but I never worked as a biologist. I love science, I tell you that. I love biology, but thinking about it, if you want to achieve anything in science, you have to do the masters, you have to do the doctors, then your postdoc for who knows how many years, and then you need to work somewhere for at least a couple of years to be in a position where you can actually do your own research that you want to do, if you're lucky. Yeah, at that point you're in the end of your 30s, and that's the first time you kind of make some money. So I didn't see myself there. This path is too long and too, my passion for science was not that big that I could imagine myself working in a lab, doing the same things over and over again. You know, you feel like a trained monkey, a highly trained monkey, because you run GLs, you do PCRs, you do like cloning. After I finished my bachelor in biology, I went straight to Bali. I lived for 3 years in Bali from 2013 to 2016. And my brother was already living there, and he had like a small hotel there with like 20 rooms, and he tried to expand that, and I was helping him there for like 2 years. I started making my first really bad videos there, but then I didn't want to stay in Bali because it's a very small island, and I was in my early 20s and I wanted to have some action. So I came to Berlin, and there's plenty of action here. And when I got to Berlin, the nightlife here, it like sucked me in. Like, for 2 years, I was not doing much else than partying. Like, I didn't have a job. I was like freelancing, so I had a lot of time. I was partying 3 or 4, sometimes 5 times a week. It was crazy. And to be honest, I don't know how I survived that time. And my experience as a YouTuber, I'm telling you, it's very lonely. I mean, if you are in a YouTube team, if you have other people you work with, I think that's a great thing. But I am most of the time alone. The only time I shoot with other people is if I ask my friends to play a role, or I collaborate with other people. But other than that, I'm basically most of the time alone. I do everything myself. I film, I script, I edit. So I'm very socially anxious now. Every time I meet someone who is also into making videos, I enjoy it very much, and I want to do more of that. I hope I can find more people to collaborate with. And it's a very weird situation that in Berlin there are so little YouTubers doing English content. I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers who do German content in Berlin. Very few people do English stuff. Like, it's weird. It's such a huge expat community. And if you know anyone who is from Berlin, who is living in Berlin as an expat, and I didn't discover them yet, and you think it would be a great collaboration opportunity, please let me know. What is the easiest way to get a date in Berlin? Tinder. Or just skip the date and go to KitKat. Easy. Why do Germans love bread? Because it's the best thing humankind ever invented to eat. That's why. And I mean, if you are not from the middle of Europe, you don't know what real bread is. I've been to Asia, I've been to Latin America, and they don't know what bread is. The bread they sell there, they may call it bread, but it's not bread. The bread people sell in these places shouldn't be called bread, because it's not. It's sweet, it's too soft, it's too sugary, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. If you buy bread in Asia, that's not bread, it's a cake. It's fucking cake. So, yeah, no bread, no life. What are your favorite cities around Europe? Alright, I love Budapest, Lisbon, Odessa, and London, and I like the area around Côte d'Azur. So beautiful. I would love to live in all of those places for a couple of months, certainly. Are you going to do another collab with Nalf? Oh yes, most certainly. In October we are probably going to meet up again, and then we are trying to shoot as many collabs as possible, not just one. Which is the best bank for digital nomads? It's called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best bank for digital nomads, and for everyone else too. What's your most crazy Berlin party story? I wish I could share these stories here on YouTube, but some things should stay in the dark and not come to the light. If you ever meet me, I will tell you the story in person, but this is not for the internet. What happens in the Berlin clubs should stay in the Berlin clubs. But I promise you, if you come and party here, you will find a lot of crazy. Why are Germans so angry and shouting? Because people keep calling bread when it is not bread. That's why they sell bread, but it's not bread. And it makes me angry. Is 2 years enough to experience Berlin? Well, it depends. If you have a job and you work 8 hours a day, it's certainly not enough. Then you need much more time than that. But if you do not work and you have all the time, the whole week, in 2 years, not doing anything but exploring Berlin, you will have enough time to see almost everything, I guess. What is the strangest thing you have noticed in a culture outside Germany? So many things. The cockfighting in Indonesia, the host clubs in Japan, the eating live octopus in Korea, generally the food in Colombia. But the strangest thing would probably be this region in Indonesia where they don't bury their dead, but they mummify them and put them in some spots in their house and in the village, and then you have like the grandpa who's dead already for 20 years. He's just sitting on his chair, mummified. You have these dead people just hanging around in the village, and that must be probably the strangest thing. But if you have any more strange things to share, I would appreciate reading them in the comments, so let me know. Do you make your outfits or do you find pieces, throw them together and work it? Where are your favorite places to shop for unique clothing in Berlin? I wish I could make my own outfits. I mean, I could, but it takes a lot of time, I know that. I just don't have the patience for that, but I respect everyone who does their own outfits. Props to you. And I think more than 70% of my outfits I got in second-hand shops in Berlin or at the flea market. And of course a few ones from select designer shops, I guess, but nothing I would go regularly to. Do you still party as much, as hard, as often now that COVID is kind of over? Also, do you see new generations of Berliners? Do they seem different, or is everybody just weird in their own way? Well, I don't party as much as before, and I probably would never will again. I'm just getting too old for this, and the hangover is not until Monday or Tuesday anymore. It's ranging until Wednesday or Thursday, so I think that's just coming with age. So I wish I could party as hard as I did, but it's just not feasible anymore. So nowadays, where you will find me is not a normal club at a normal event, but I will go usually to a specific event where you have to dress up in a costume or something, because I think it's just much more fun if everybody is dressed in a crazy costume or a fetish outfit. It makes the whole experience much more surreal and fun, in my opinion. Now, how is the new generation different? What I've seen in the difference is that the younger generation takes much more drugs and additionally doesn't know how to handle them. So that's a little bit concerning. East or West Berlin? Of course, East Berlin. Which cities would you recommend for students in Germany? I would recommend a city that is not too big, where the amount of students in relation to the rest of the population in the city is very big. So Heidelberg, for example, I was studying there for a year, has a population of 120,000 people, and the universities have 30 to 40,000 students. So that's a very big chunk of students in the city, and it makes the city very alive. If you want to experience the German culture, you should also choose a city which is not Berlin, because you will not experience any German culture here. So I would recommend going to Heidelberg, Münster, Tübingen, Leipzig and Kassel. Kassel is a city where I did my bachelor, and it's a great city for students. Everything is super cheap. Rent there is like one of the cheapest in all Germany. You can get a huge flat for nothing. I wouldn't recommend to come to Berlin for studying, because there's so many possibilities on stuff to do. You won't get to actually study because you want to do all the other things. What do Germans think about Finland? We love you. We love you too. I'm getting crazy, guys. Say something in German that no one except a German will understand. Lelebebel. What do you do for maintaining your hair like that? What do you mean? What's with my hair? I mean, I wash it once in a while. You should try it. It's great. How many times did you encounter crime in Berlin? Never. I am the criminal. Don't tell anyone. No, actually, I can't think of anything criminal. I have encountered, except drug-related crime, I guess, which you encounter almost every day. Well, I have seen the result of crime happening a lot, like burning cars, you see that almost every day, but never actually the event, you know. Berlin is very safe, I would say, especially coming from South America, you know. If you had a time machine, which historically figure would you go back and kill? I wouldn't kill anyone, because that would trigger the grandfather paradox and then I would never be born. Gotcha. Which is your favorite kebab in Berlin? There's so many good kebabs. Most of them are in Neukölln. I will not tell you, because then all of you will go there and then I have to queue up for them. So, they're gonna stay secret. How do you keep a productive routine? Because I heard that people are not really about productivity in cities, especially Berlin with all these parties and stuff. This is one of the biggest issues for me, to have a productive routine, because I very much don't have one. And I've been trying to build one for years, but it's impossible. There's people who like order and they stick to their plan. But I make a plan, in the evening I make a plan on what I want to do the next day, but the next day I don't look at the list, so it's all chaos. What's the attitude of Germans towards other nationalities? Do non-Germans deal with discrimination when they want to rent a flat, find a job or build a career? I have many friends who are not looking like Germans. They were born here, but they are from Turkey or from Sri Lanka or other parts. They face a lot of discrimination, yes, because of their names, because of their skin color, especially when it comes to looking for a flat. They have a very hard time, they always tell me, especially in the countryside. Not so much when they're looking for a job. Professionally wise, it does occur, yeah, for sure, but much less, and I think the qualification is more important than anything else here. If you do the job better than a German, you will get a job. But if you are from another European country, like France, Sweden, Spain, Italy, I don't think there's a difference there. They get treated the same. What's the best way for a woman to ask out a German man? Hey you, nice ass. You wanna go for a coffee? That's it. No man will say no to this. Do you own a car and do you need a car or want a car? I don't own a car, and in Berlin you don't really need a car because there's public transport everywhere. It's very good, it's very cheap. Of course I would like to have a car at some point, but then again in Berlin you have to look for parking spaces, which costs you 2 hours a day if you drive somewhere. So yeah, if I move anywhere else I will get a car, but not before. What would be the German equivalent of diluting wine with water in France? The equivalent would be to put Coca-Cola in wine, which I know that some countries are doing it, and Germans are like, what the hell are these people doing to the wine? Because if you put water into the wine, it just dilutes it, you can still taste it, but if you put Coke into the wine, you can't even taste the wine anymore. Like, what the hell is that? Why are most German drinks carbonated? Because it's more refreshing. What would you recommend for someone from LATAM who will go to your country in the next month? I would advise you to bring a lot of condoms. German women are crazy for Latin guys. I want to ask you what equipment you use for your vlogging. Well, I use this camera, the Sony a7S III. I love this camera. It's the dream of a camera. Until the beginning of 2021, I was using a very cheap Panasonic Lumix F300, and it was like 400 euro. And this saves me so much time in editing, color correction, setting up the lights. Despite what all the other YouTubers are telling you, the camera is the last thing you should save money on. This right here is my second camera. I was using it on the road when I was in South America because it's a little bit more compact and cheaper, but it's also a great camera. And this one is the Sony a7C. It was a great camera on the road and I love it. I think if you're serious about YouTube and you're just starting out, like, this is the perfect camera to start with a good quality. I don't think there's another one with the same price-value relation as this one. And then of course this Manfrotto super lightweight tripod. Never failed me. I don't want to carry too much around, so I can put this in my backpack on the side. Very good. What is your best experience as a YouTuber or living in Germany with your lifestyle? The best thing about being a YouTuber is that I'm not location dependent and nobody tells me what to do, except for the algorithm. If I don't satisfy the algorithm, then I will starve. So please, algorithm, bless me. I pray to you every night before I sleep. Tell us something about student life. Student life is great. You don't want to join the workforce because then you will work, you will have to pay taxes, and you will have a 9 to 5 or 24/7 like I am. So enjoy student life as long as you can. Life sucks. If you could meet anyone in this world today, who would you meet? Of course, Belle Delphine. What is this question? No, just kidding. It would be, of course, Elon Musk in KitKat. And he was there, and I'm going there every weekend until I die just to meet him there the next time. Waiting for you, Ellen. Don't disappoint me.
All personnel, please evacuate to the nearest lab and report to your supervisor.
No, but actually, there's another person I would like to meet more, but you probably never heard of him. His name is Aubrey de Grey, and he's one of the leading scientists doing aging research, and he's just an awesome dude. Is there intelligent life outside our solar system? Yes, most likely. What are the 3 big things Germans want to change in their country? We want to change the bureaucracy. We want to change the slow internet and the general digitalization. Everything is still on paper and it's so bad. And of course, world leadership. Why don't you move to Switzerland? Because I am not a millionaire and I probably will not be one soon. And a kebab in Switzerland costs like 16 euro and I will starve there. That's why. Whew. I think this is enough questions for today. We didn't even make it halfway through, but that's how it is. And if you made it this far into the video, just let me tell you, you are awesome. And I'm very happy to have you here. I really enjoy interacting with many of you in the comments and meeting some of you on the streets. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. See you in the next video in Munich.